He's like a little mini snowman. This was just boring. The unicorn boys are just like, whoa. What's that? Unless you're looking for corn with a P, then I would recommend. Okay. Hello. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. If you saw my community post, you know that I was kind of on a break. I'm coming back from like a funeral and whatnot, which thank you for your condolences. It's very, very kind, very, very sweet. I appreciate it. But now that everything is done, I'm back. I'm here. Sorry if you hear my cat hawking up mucus. That's a nice welcome back sound. But anyways, I'm back. I have my January wrap up to go through. I am still like very tired after planning everything, so I apologize if I am boring. But this is gonna go one of two ways. Either I'm gonna be very mellow or more weird than normal, which I can already tell my hands moving a lot. It might go that route. Anyways, I don't know why I'm telling you guys all this, but thanks for sticking around. Anyways, January wrap up. This was Once Upon a Readathon. I'm honestly very happy with how much I read, considering the whole last week of January I didn't do nothing because I was working on the funeral stuff. But I read 7 stories altogether, 5 of which were like full-fledged books. And then there was 3 other books that I started that I didn't finish. But, you know, we'll get into that stuff. I will just start off with the Make Games because you guys know that is just near and dear to my heart, and I loved it, and I finished it, but it is not a 5-star. All the other books in the second series, obsessed with. But the 4th book, I don't know, it doesn't really have a climactic ending. They're fighting one of the horsewomen of the apocalypse, but it's not on the same level as the first series, and I kind of felt like they were trying to repeat some stuff from the first series, so it just didn't, I don't know. I mean, it's there, but I don't know. Am I going to read the 3rd Make Games that's coming out this year? Yeah. Okay. I need to find more men for my collection, for my own reverse harem. But yeah, the last book, not so great. The first 3 books, though, I really recommend. Not everybody was into this, by the way. So start with the first series of the Make Games if you're new. If you're new here, you don't know who I am. Make Games, Make Games, Make Games. And you need to listen to it. I've never said that before in my life. You need to listen to it. Anyways, so Make Games was a 4-star read. Of course, the acting was phenomenal when you're listening to it, but it's not, I don't know, I'm not over the moon. Actually, should I even give it 4 stars? Crap. Maybe it's a 3-star. Whoa, that's low. That's real low for me. Anyways, let's just move on. Okay, let's move on. I have The Devil in Winter. So B, she's the one who actually recommended this, that we do like a buddy read on it. This is the Lisa Kleypas. Lisa. She has her whole series, and this is actually, I think, the 2nd book in this series. But I ended up reading this a long time ago, so it was jogging my memory. It's a good one. This is actually another comfort read. I love Sebastian in it. I love just their dynamic. I love the strong female character. I can't remember her name at the moment. I love Sebastian and her sort of interaction. I loved the setting. There's kind of this action-y like aspect to it. If you hear her nudging this, I apologize. But there's an action-y sort of element to it, not like so grandiose like the shadow play that I've told you guys about, my mummy book, but it's more than just like going to a house and you're watching 2 couples fall in love, which can be common with historicals. This is a good one where there's that intrigue. So I highly recommend this one if you haven't read it. If you're new to historicals, Lisa Kleypas is a good place to start. I think this is a really good one to start. I haven't read the first book, but Sebastian's fun. Okay, he's just like, he has this haughtiness to him and this aristocratic air that he definitely plays into, and you hear it in just his word choices and whatnot. But he is also ends up being very caring towards her, and she's strong in her own way, and how she just wants to be with her father, and then just kind of her upbringing is not the best, and there's definitely some interesting characters at play when it comes to the whole gambling scene. It's good. I'm not really explaining. I'm kind of just all over the place today, aren't I? My week's been crazy, okay? My brain is a little mushy, so bear with me here. It's good. That's what you need to know. 5-star read. definitely something I would reread in the future again. It's a total comfort read. So, anyways, apple seeds in the snow. So I did receive this from Helen again. This is her second book in the Zamaska Chronicles. Zamaska? Oh my god, I can't remember anything right now. This is her second book in the series. Technically, it's a standalone. You don't have to read these in order. But I talked to you guys about this, I think, back in September with The Briar Crown. She's the one where I got to listen to her audiobook of The Briar Crown, and I told you she sounded like Alice in Wonderland. She'd be so great for that. She really, really would. This time, I actually got to read the hard copy of the book. This is the second one where this is almost more like a prequel. Okay, so I don't want to say too much in case you decide to start with this book versus the other one. But this still has the same elements of, it feels like a fairy tale. Like, I don't know how to describe it and how she's doing it, but she writes in a way that it feels very fairy tale like. And I think it has to do with the creatures that she chooses. It's very different as far as like fantasy romance from what you kind of more commonly see right now. She really plays into very forest-like creatures, especially with the Briar Crown. This one, where actually you have your snowscape, okay? It's winter. So I got to experience some creatures that I have literally never seen before. One being a Yeti, so that was cool when he popped up. He's not the main character, just so you know, but he's there. We got a Yeti. We have a frog-like dude, and then we have one of our main characters, our main love interest, Ladu. He's like a seal man. So like when he was first described like that, that threw me off because I haven't heard of a seal man before. But it really plays into the winter vibes. They're going to Winterfest and she's kind of having this last hurrah before she gets married to this toad dude, which she wants nothing to do with. Which, by the way, on like a complete side note, when the story starts, this sounds weird. This is just, I think because of my background, this is how I pictured it. I could see it because there is kind of this quick movement going on in your opening chapter. It's fun, it's playful, but it feels very much like an opening of like a Disney movie. Like I could see the freaking scene. It was very cool in that regard. So this is really fun if you're looking for a winter book. We still have some winter left. So if you want to go check it out, it is on Amazon. I'm not sure if she has a website. I need to double check if Helen has a website. But it's very well written. It's not like smutty. It has some spice to it, but it's not just thrown in there. Okay, it definitely works for the storyline. We got a slow burn for sure. Sometimes they're cooling down, sometimes they're heating up. There's a third character at play here. I don't want to go too much into it, but there's definitely some neat aspects. It took me a little bit to kind of get into it. I think once we got to Winterfest, I started to get more invested. So I think I want to give it like, I think I did this last time too. I'm like hanging between a 4 and a 3.5. 3.5 feels too low. I could give it a 4. Maybe I should give it a 4. It just took me a little bit to get in. So if you are the same way, just kind of keep pushing through. It's atmospheric. It's fun. It's good. It's a fairy tale. Go enjoy yourself. It's a sweet book. Get yourself some hot cocoa. Curl up on the couch. It's good. Anyways, the next one, The Lord Next Door. So this is by Gail Callan. This is unfortunate. Okay, let's just say that. It's unfortunate. I love Gail Callan. She's one of my all-time favorite authors. This was just boring. It wasn't great, so I don't really recommend it. It's kind of just, I don't even really know how to describe it. Not much is going on. I'll just say that. She's in need of a man with somebody, and he's in need of a woman to basically help him with his issues. So, I don't know. Not too much is going on. Wasn't a huge fan. That's what I'll leave it at. It's like I don't know, maybe a 3-star. Like, it's readable, but it's just nothing to write home about. But anyways, moving on. Unicorn Academy. So this one, I read this one obviously for the points. Team Unicorn, what's up? But it's fun. I I mentioned to you guys before, I was curious if it was going to kind of have like the aspect of the mate games, and it does in a certain regard because it is a reverse harem where our girl, she essentially is turning into a unicorn. She thought that she was just like a magical dud, and there's no female unicorns in existence. So she's rare, and the boys, the unicorn boys, are just like, whoa. What's that? So I was curious if it was going to have that playful, sort of humorous spiciness as the Make games. And I think it will, but the way that this is set up, it's a series, it just blatantly ends right in the middle of it. So that was very annoying. But I could tell it has aspects from the Make games. I've said before the Make games is like top tier of its sort of genre in what it's doing. This one definitely doesn't match that, girl. It doesn't match that, but it has some similarities, mainly being just like the sort of sarcastic phrases that are being used that pops up quite a bit. There's just some fun sort of aspects in the sense of like the unicorns, their power really comes from like purity. So you can imagine how that's gonna go with a reverse harem. You know, I don't know how I want to rate it because it wasn't bad. It held my interest. It's definitely one of those goofy books that you can't take seriously. So if you're looking for like a really good storyline, I mean, it's not it. But it's more just fun and playful. But I hated how it just freaking ended. You don't get much spice in the first one either, by the way. So if you're looking for that, maybe look elsewhere, okay? Because that's not going to come till later. Moving on. Sorry, I know I'm moving fast, but like I said, my brain is like mush, and I think I'm still half asleep from the week. But anyways, Wicked in Winter. So this was actually a small, like a more of a novella style historical romance, and it was good, but it doesn't have that same satisfying scratch as a historical romance does. And what I mean by that is like historical romances have that sweetness and it has the spice. I never really think of historicals as spicy because that's just like my baseline for me. The spice within historicals, like it works so naturally. We're not trying to get to the spice. We're just trying to understand the romance and see it play out, right? With this one, it felt like we had a historical romance background and a traditional storyline, but it felt like we were trying to get to the spice. But it wasn't bad. It's short. So if you're looking for like a quick read that's more in like your Victorian, your Regency sort of times, then definitely try these out. But anyways, Wicked in Winter. It's okay. You could try it if you want. It's short enough where, it doesn't really matter if I recommend it or not. You choose what you want to do. There's a bunch of them though. Anyways, moving on. The last one that I actually read, I did this with April and Vita, and we're just trying to find like some sort of wintry little short crazy novella, something stupid, something funny, because we didn't do weird ass romance this month because April and I were both in the readathon, and we thought we found one. It's called Jack Frost, and it's this, I don't know, like it's a gay storyline. We have Jack Frost in it. One of the guys is coming up to a cabin where he's finally going to meet this other guy that's long distance relationship. He doesn't show up. Jack Frost rolls in as a snowman. Okay, so that's great. He's like a little mini snowman. And I believe he showed up right in front of a fireplace at first. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. But that was the coolest part, okay? Pun intended. That was the coolest part. The rest of it was pure corn with a P. All right? It wasn't very funny. So 2 stars. We could have gone somewhere. It just also blatantly, again, just ended. So it was just blatantly, is that the word? I am on the struggle bus. Anyways, Jack Frost, don't really recommend. It was just, unless you're looking for corn with a P, then I recommend. Okay, but anyways, those were the stories that I actually read. The ones that I started that I didn't end up finishing just because they weren't holding my attention. One was Killer Unicorn Apocalypse, which I actually spent the money on to buy. I don't know. I wish I didn't. But when I started it, it feels very much like the type of book where hopefully this makes sense. It didn't feel well written. It didn't feel like someone was trying to write a book. It felt like it was someone who appreciates words creating a story. if that makes sense. So you're kind of reading it, and there's a lot of these sort of big words being used for such a ridiculous sort of storyline, but you're just kind of all over the place. You don't feel like you're getting sucked into a story. And then after the first chapter, it starts to get more story-like, but it has that funny nature that I really like in my weird-ass romance books, but it's a full-fledged novel. So I realized that I like my funny stuff more in like small doses, you know? But it was fun. Like, just like the thought of picturing these unicorns and just the things that they're saying and how they're unaliving each other is fun. Okay, like there's some ridiculous concepts in here. Like there's like cannibalistic gnomes and things like that. So there is some really ridiculously fun elements, but it's a full-fledged novel, and that this just kind of made me realize I can't handle that. I need little itsy bitsy ridiculousness. I also started Curse of Shadows and Thorns. April actually read this, and so did Nikki, I believe. They both said like the beginning's very hard to get into, and that's what me and my patronies found as well. Like just the way that she was writing in her sentence structure, it would get really confusing and just kind of discombobulating that we just kind of had to close it. But April mentioned like 30 to 40% in, that's when it takes off. And she said she almost DNF'd it in the beginning, but 30 to 40% is like the moment where you start to be super invested and it gets really good. So I may pick it up later, but I did struggle, and I was like the rest of my patronies and was like, I want to focus on other stuff. And then the last one was Voices in the Snow, which Hannah gave to me. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about 20% in, but this is more of your thriller, gory sort of story, and I'm trying it out to see if I'll be into it, but I didn't really get to any gory bits so far. And she is kind of in a place where she's alone and she feels kind of trapped, even though this guy seems like he's good. I don't know if he is yet, but she wants to get back to her sister. So it's interesting. Like, I could tell I'd like it if I was watching it, but reading it, I'm just kind of like, nothing's holding me there. I'm really a romance reader, so I'm trying to get to the gore part to see if that will suck me in, but I'm wondering if maybe like something that's strictly thriller, horror, or gore, if that's something like I need to watch, you know, because I like to see the blood gush, I guess. I don't know. But romance is really my happy place, so we'll see if I pick those back up in February. There are some other ones that I'm trying to get, but that's it. That's what I read. If you stuck around for this, thanks. I recognize that this video was difficult probably to watch. I don't know. I'm gonna also try to edit it very simply, so it might not be the most exciting, but I'm very tired. Okay? Sorry. I'm happy to be back though. It felt like forever since I got to do anything for YouTube. Like this past week has felt so long. So this feels really good, but I can tell like my brain, it's maybe half there if I'm lucky. So I'm gonna go edit this now. And if you made it this far, thanks. You're a trooper and you deserve gold stars. All right. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. You have a great rest of your week. I will definitely be here next week. Everything is gonna be good for the rest of the year for 2024. Okay? I've decided. Bye.